Hi, I thought I'd take up a hot topic today. It's called staff turnover. I'm sure you've never experienced this. Haha, that was a joke. Anyway, hang in, that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, I'm Janice Wheeler. I'm the president of The Art of Management. We're a consulting and training company for healthcare professionals, helping them become CEOs to take control of their practices. One of the hot topics, especially now because we're just sort of maybe near the end of a pandemic, but maybe not, and we are seeing all sorts of issues to do with staff turnover. Understandably, there are some staff who are scared to death to come back to work. I'm sorry, it's going to happen, and it is happening. There are others that are coming back, but with reduced hours. There are some that are coming back, but maybe they shouldn't because they're so nervous at the front desk that they're actually failing to close the patients to come back. So now you've got another problem. So they're well-meaning, these are your team members. It's unfortunate, but people do move also and decide to stay home with the kids. There's a lot of people doing that right now because they've just spent 4 or 5 or 6 months with the kids and now they're they want to be with them and homeschool them. This is actually happening in some of the practices that we're consulting right now, is that the staff member has decided to stay home and be the homeschooler, which is awesome. You can't fault them for wanting to do that. However, what you want is a stable team so that your patients get ideal care from people who know them and give them that wow factor that you want. So let's just face facts though, that there will be turnover. The good news is there are usually a lot of staff available because some practices haven't made it, some have downsized, and so there are staff available. More and more of our clients are finding this right now if you put the right ads out saying the right things in the right places. All right, so you have a turnover that has to happen. Let's walk through some of the steps. First of all, you have a very experienced person who knows this job inside out and she's been with you for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. This is not an easy replacement in any position, but especially the office manager or the front desk, right? Because they have a lot of parts to their job as opposed to an assistant that it's more, once they're trained as an assistant, it's easier for you to get them into your ways of doing things, but it's not an infinitesimal like which insurance companies do what and approve what and how long and when should you call them and how do you make the recall system work properly and when should you do anything. It's just there's a lot of stuff to be known that is in somebody's head, and if they leave without a replacement, guess what, you're it. Unless you've got another staff member who is cross-trained, which it's not a bad idea. But let's say you hire somebody and you feel you've done a good job at hiring the person. There's a lot of good hiring methods out there. We have a whole system of hiring that we help our clients with that pretty much assure that who you're hiring is going to work out on the job or not. So getting the right person, let's say you've got them. So now the person who's been holding the job all along is now going to train them. Now, they should have, first of all, the person who's been holding the job ideally has written up everything about that job, like every little detail about where this is, where that's kept, when should you order this, what kind of patients do we want, what's the mission statement, you name it, anything about that job. And ideally, she can even draw diagrams and write out sketches and take videos and so on to show where things are kept and how you do it. I mean, writing up that job is very, very key. Now, you've got that done. New person starts, they read all of that material. Now they shadow the person who's holding the job and they watch them how they do it in real life for a week or so. And depending on how long you have as an overlap, ideally you'd have maybe least is 2 weeks. More like 6 weeks would be great, but that's a little expensive. But it does depend on the extensiveness of the job. If it's an office manager position in a large practice, having the longest possible period of training the new person is a good thing. However, Once they have shadowed the person holding the job, then they reverse roles, and the person who's been holding the job now shadows and watches and helps and corrects the new person. And then they're done. Okay, let's say all of that went extremely successfully. Now, the person who's been holding the job has moved to the opposite end of the country, and the new person decides that she's leaving. She doesn't like the other staff. She doesn't like the position. She doesn't, her mom got sick and she's got to go off and be with her mom for the next year because she has cancer, something bad, sorry. But these things happen. And now you've got nobody to train the new person that you're going to have to hire. So that job description and that write-up of that job better be very detailed. And hopefully when you were training the new person, she was training the new person, the person who had been holding the job actually videoed everything. As much as possible, explanations of where things are kept, all those kind of things. Video recordings are very popular now because everybody has a cell phone, and you just have to get a little tripod to hold it and turn it on, and she just has to explain things. And that's brilliant because it's better to watch it that way. People like pictures rather than words written. So there you go, that's a very hot idea. All right, so you've got this new person and there's nobody to train her. Guess what? Your assistant or somebody else in the practice is going to have to do double duty for a little while. Hopefully they're cross-trained to some degree in your practice so that they can fill in. Now, there are other factors to consider. Maybe that person wouldn't have left if they really liked your practice and your staff. So you do have to have a really good working environment and offer a competitive pay and have a good bonus system. We're really big on working out bonus systems that are very unique for each practice that we work with to encourage people to stay, because going through the hiring process, although it's an inevitable fact that this will happen throughout your career, that you will lose staff due to good reasons and bad, but if we can make the bad ones go away as much as possible, that would be the ideal, right? Therefore, you want to be sure that your practice is a place where people get along and want to work, that you do things together as a team. Having corporate culture, it's called, where you all are involved in, say, a social project like, I don't know, there's ones like cleaning the highway once a month. You go out and pick up all the garbage or something. This is actually posted on signs by highways in Canada that so-and-so practice or office did this. There are volunteer activities in the community. So there's no shortage of things that you could do together as a team outside of production time. Therefore, you end up with good staff who get along with each other and who have purpose, and they really want to give every patient walking in that wow factor and exceed their expectations and so on, and so that you have a really stable practice that survives pandemics and everything else. All right, so there's some hot tips for today, and I hope you enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, be sure and call me, because I'm quite willing to answer questions. And I also do a free in-depth practice analysis to find out what could be done about your practice to take it to the next level so it meets your goals. Give me a call. I think the number's at the end of the video here. And be sure to subscribe to our channel and watch for videos that we're regularly posting up. Bye for now.
To get your practice analyzed, contact the Art of Management at 416-466-6217.